Connor Morissette at USCFootball.com here with USC head coach Lincoln Riley at Big Ten Media Day in Indianapolis. Coach, it's great to be with you. Year 3 with USC. What do you think the strengths of this year's group are?
I'm excited. We've talked about it, I know a lot, but there's just so much momentum. I think coming off of the bowl game win, the way our young roster handled that game, the confidence, excitement, I think just the way we played, I think it just feels like that everything that we've done has been an extension of that. And then certainly, and the excitement over the new defensive staff, several of the new players that have joined, the new conference. I mean, there's a lot to be excited about if you're a USC fan.
Let's look at the quarterback spot. Caleb, of course, with the Chicago Bears now. Miller Moss looks like the likely starting quarterback. When, in your mind, are you going to name him publicly as a starter or name a starter? What's that whole process look like?
Yeah, we want to get into practice here a little bit and see how these guys compete and how they've improved throughout the offseason. Offseason is a long stretch of time, so we want to get a good look at all three of those guys, kind of see where they're at, and then once we feel like that somebody's really and truly separated themselves this fall, then we'll get that decision made and get it announced and move on.
Would you ever roll with a 2-quarterback system, maybe try to throw someone else out there to give a different look? I know you haven't done that historically.
Yeah, I hate to say never, but highly unlikely. Yeah.
Okay, appreciate it. How much can D'Anton Lynn turn around this USC defense in 1 year, and what metrics are you looking at that you really want to improve on with him now leading the charge there?
Yeah, I mean, I think it'll be a combination of everyone. Danton's certainly going to play a prominent role in that, but I mean, look what he did a year ago. I mean, that's absolutely, it can happen, and I think I think you're wanting to see consistent improvement. I think you're wanting to see players out there, both individually and collectively, playing to the capability that you feel like that they have. And he was able to, he's been able to do that in his career, both at the NFL and college levels. And I feel like, a lot of really exciting early returns on what we've seen in terms of both him and our entire staff and their ability to coach and develop. And I think, you ask our players, the people around the program that are in the know, they see that and they feel that. Now, listen, it's got to go translate. Like we all understand that. It's got to go translate, but I very much believe it will, and we've got high expectations for how we will play defensively.
There are always so many ebbs and flows with recruiting in this current class right now. I know you can't talk about specific names, but some fans are a little frustrated with how recruiting's going. What's your message to fans right now with how you're going to finish this cycle, and how do you plan to land some of these bigger names in the future?
Oh, that's welcome to being a blue blood. Welcome to recruiting this day and age. That's part of how these things go. Listen, we took over this thing a few years ago, knowing what it was going to take to build. We made some pretty significant staff changes this year, and the early returns on that have been great. But this stuff takes time, especially in recruiting, where relationships, especially for a lot of top prospects, are years in the making. And so we're heading in a great direction. Listen, I know everybody wants everything to be fixed right away at once, but that's living in a fantasy land. The reality is we've won 19 games in 2 years from a team that won 4 the year before we got here. Recruiting's gotten better. The roster's gotten better. We're building new facilities. We're in a better conference. The athletic administration has gone to a great place. The staff's gotten better. Like we're doing the things that we need to do. We'll continue to get the right people in here to win games.
Awesome. And the last question, now with NIL, it's so important and so different than how you came up in coaching with recruiting. How important is the support staff, is the general manager, is that whole other side of things now when you have a whole other portion of recruiting that maybe you weren't dealing with before? How important are those other staff members, not necessarily just the coaches?
Oh, I think it's all important. I mean, the people in the building are incredibly important. The collective is incredibly important. And I give House of Victory a lot of credit. I mean, when we came here, there was no NIL. We're competing against other people that things had in place well before we had anything. And so the people at House of Victory, our NIL group, have done a tremendous job. We've got to be one of the most improved groups in the country, and we're going to continue to get better. And I would say that about our recruiting staff. I'd say that about all areas of our program. Like we're honestly at the same place in a lot of areas, right? It's make the changes that you need to make, get the momentum going the way that you need it to go, and then it just builds from there. And that's you got to have some big picture vision to see that, and that's the way that we've done it. That's the way that we're going to build it. There's not one part of our program that I don't feel like is heading in a great direction. Now, does that mean we're satisfied with every single thing that's happening right now in recruiting or on the field? Of course not. No, that's why we're building, right? That's part of the process. But we've got a great staff. Our NIL is rapidly improved. This new building is going to be a massive part of this, and you know, we're not where we want to be right now, but we're not far off, and we're not slowing down.
Lincoln, thanks so much for joining us at USCFootball.com. We really appreciate the time.
You got it. Thanks.